I mean, at a certain point in time, you start shooting the final episode. Hundreds of people in Hawaii, in LA, will probably know what's it about.
Well, that's a problem, and we've been discussing it because we have a lot of spoilers, obviously. I mean, it's the world we live in with the good news, bad news about the internet that, you know, there was one time when I was shooting that sequence where Ben was in Iraq and he was tracking Saeed through the marketplace. And our production team created this extraordinary set, like everything, we do it all in Hawaii with as little CGI as possible. So we take part of a building and make it England, and then add a little bit of England if we have to, for a wide shot. Most of you are film students, right? A lot of you? So the details won't bore you.
They're very polite.
Yeah, okay. Even if they are bored. But in the case of the Iraqi scene, we were shooting that scene, and our production team did an extraordinary job creating the marketplace. And I was speaking to Damon on the phone that afternoon after we had shot for the morning, and I said, "Oh my God, the marketplace is just extraordinary. It's killer. You're gonna love it." He said, "I saw it." I said, "What do you mean you saw it?" And he said, "We saw it on the internet." And I said, "We just shot it this morning." He said, "Yeah, well, apparently some guy had a camera across the street in the building and shot you shooting it, and it looks great." So that's, in the case of wanting to see what we're up to, that's the good news for Damon and Carlton in LA. But it's in terms of the finale, we are discussing ways we can keep it from being spoiled, because it would be terrible if that were to happen. In the season where, in the flash forward sequence where we reveal Locke in the coffin, not this final season, but a season ago. I'm sorry, it's a blur, forgive me. Whatever it was. I shot 4 actors in the coffin. And I didn't shoot Matthew Fox because he was looking into the coffin, and that would have been too Lostian and too weird. Although I do have a story about Hurley looking in a window and seeing Hurley, which you should remind me, because it's actually an interesting thing how it gets created. But out of mistakes, good things happen sometimes. But I put Sawyer, I put Desmond, I forget, a few people, but the problem was...
You brought them just for this scene, pay them a whole day?
No, they were on payroll because they're regulars on the show, but I said, let's shoot 4 people in the coffin. The problem was I took a lot more time to get that camera move perfect when it was Terry. And they were kind of looking at me going, "Okay, thank you, Josh, take one, see you later." But I do think we need to do something. We're talking about shutting down in Hawaii and shooting it, I don't know, maybe here. But we're trying to figure that out, because that would be terrible.
The last place you want to shoot.
Yeah.
Something secretive.
Yeah, right, probably.
Come on.
I'm sure that's why David chased it
24 hours
out on The Sopranos, because it was, you know, he shot something else and somebody talked about it. But that's not the case either.
You mentioned Damon and Carlton, the 2 main writers for the show. Basically, they sit in LA,
yes,
miles and miles away from where you shoot the series, right. In a room, basically making up the show. And how do you communicate? Like daily?
Oh, daily, yeah, a few times a day. What happens is we have an extraordinary group of writers. Damon is very much the man behind the curtain of our show, as is Carlton, and they work together to come up with what our season is going to be. But at the end of every season, they have what they call a mini camp, where once the finale is written for the season, they will get together for 2 weeks with the writers under much less pressure and talk about everything from religion and life and kids and art and literature, and just screw around having a great time. And they will begin to kick around ideas for what the next season will be.